Welcome back. In this video, we'll cover how to build Python from source, something you'll likely need to do to get stable diffusion working on Linux. I'll be doing this on Ubuntu 23.10, but the process should be pretty similar regardless of distro and/or version. Also, if you want to use Python for some other purpose than stable diffusion, this guide will help you build Python from source as well. Let's get started. First off, I'll start by installing the git and wget packages. We'll be using these shortly. Alright, this tutorial is being adapted from RealPython's guide on building Python from source. I'll put a link to that guide in the video description below. Now that those first two packages are installed, let's change over to the downloads directory and use wget to download Python 3.10.6's source code. You might also hear me call a directory a folder. Both terms can be used interchangeably. At the time this video is being recorded, Stable Diffusion performs best on 3.10.x, and 3.10.6 is the recommended version as seen in multiple installation guides. I always need to remind myself of the files in a given directory, so in this instance, after downloading the Python tarball, a quick ls command confirms our tarball. Python-3.10.6.tgz is ready. On a technical note, if you're new to, unfamiliar with, or intimidated by the command line, I just wanted to point something out. In many instances, terminal commands use the first few consonants of either the first word or the first few words that describe what a given command does. L and S are in the word list, and in a lot of cases, in commands, the first two consonants from a given verb is used. So rm for the remove command, or mkdir for make directory. Though funnily enough, the make command is make spelled out, which we'll use in a moment. Extracting the tarball is next. tar-xzvf python-3.10.6.tgz does the job. Pro tip, use the tab key, which I didn't do in this instance, to autocomplete to save time. Before proceeding, let's run apt update to ensure all of our packages are up to date. Note, apt-get, which I use here, is deprecated. On this fresh Ubuntu 23.10 install, there's not much to update, but it's a good practice. After all of that, I ls into the downloads directory to show myself the exact name of the extracted Python source code directory again so that I know which directory to change to, or cd command to, which I'll do in a bit. With our Python tarball extracted, it's time to install the build essentials. RealPython recommends a specific set of packages, which I'll list here. Note the backslashes indicating line continuation for a long command. There's also some additional packages essential for Stable Diffusion that I'm going to install now. This step ensures we won't need to rebuild Python later. I've had that happen, and it's not fun. I'll press enter. Now to the build process. Change directory, or CD, into the python-3.10.6 folder in my downloads folder. Now run the /configure command that gets things set up for the build process. In this case, I'll be adding some flags as recommended by the RealPython site. Enable optimizations slows down the build process, but yields a Python install that is 10 to 20% faster than a non-optimized instance. The ensure-pip flag requires the build process to build and install pip if pip isn't installed already. Alrighty. Make with the -j flag allows you to tell the compiler how many parallel jobs, or threads, the build process can use. The 13500 I'm using has 20 threads, so I'll designate 16 of them for use. Now, the moment of truth. Make alt install. This command compiles Python 3.10.6 and installs it separately from the system's default Python to avoid any conflicts. And done. The enable-optimizations flag didn't even slow us down too much. Let's verify our Python version. Python, no space, 3.10 space dash version. Perfect. 3.10.6 is ready. Time to move on to the next steps for our stable diffusion setup. Building from source, while more complex than using pre-built packages, lets you tailor features and fine-tune performance according to your requirements. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and/or subscribe. See you in the next video, whichever one that may be.